Howdy. I just had a download come in. I want to share it. Over the years of not drinking alcohol, after drinking for basically an 8-year binge and then being 10 years without a drink of alcohol, I've heard a lot of people say, how did you do it? How did you quit drinking? Like, sincerely, people asking. And they don't tell me that they have a drinking problem, but I can tell just by the way they ask. A lot of times it's, how did you quit? Like, they're very sad. You could tell that they want to quit, but they don't know how. And I just want to say that I didn't really know how when I did it. There was a lot of divine intervention. I don't think there's one single way to do it. That's the thing. It's definitely possible for anyone. But I don't think there's a certain protocol. All I can do is share my experiences with you, which I'm more than happy to. And maybe it could help you. But that question I've been getting and still get, how did you do it? It happens a lot. I think a lot of people want to know how to quit. And so I want to say that part of the download is for you not to be so hard on yourself and to let go of the shame that one can carry for relapsing or for just not being able to stop drinking in the first place when a huge part of them wants to. We got to let go of that shame, me included. It's not doing us any good. It keeps people in a lower vibrational frequency. This is a time of ascension on this planet. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. There's other videos to be made about it, and there's plenty of videos about ascension, 5D New Earth. That's a whole nother video. But anyway, yeah, it seems to be a very popular question that I've had. For me, I just hit rock bottom. I was doing things that I never ever would do as a sober person, somebody who doesn't drink. And it was an awful. My life was awful. It was in shambles. It could have been worse, but it could have been a lot better. And now it is a lot better. But I'm not religious. I was as a child, as a teenager. I'm not religious. But I feel very, very spiritual and connected to the divine source energy, so as I like to call it. And that, for me, helped me to stop drinking. So if you don't feel called to a higher power of sorts, of any sorts like that, there's got to be a way for you too. I don't know what that is because that's the route I took, but I just feel like we all have the power to choose what we do in this life. Sometimes we don't like the choices we feel we have to make, but that's a part of the lessons. Anyway, I called upon help to the angelic realm, the spiritual realm, asking for help to take away the desire to drink. Because I had the desire to drink and I was drinking even when I didn't want to drink. That is like a demonic possession, in my opinion. Is when you're doing things that you don't even want to do and you feel like something else is like driving the car, so to say, driving your avatar around. Now, thank God I wasn't like literally under some kind of, like extreme thing. But addiction's a lot like that, where you're not present and you're not living you're not in an aligned state. You're not aligned. It's not something to smile about. I'm smiling because I'm getting tongue-tied. I didn't plan this video. I had a download. I had to go grab something, running an errand, and before I'm running in, I'm like, okay, I got to say this. I hope it helps somebody. But yeah, for me, I just surrendered and said, I need help. I asked the angels to be with me in so many words. At the time, I didn't understand that angels were already with me and that I could ask for help. So that's where I say divine intervention, because it's like God, the angels, how I call it, they were already with me. They knew that I had a much bigger purpose than getting drunk all the time and barely surviving. They knew I had a much bigger purpose on this planet. So they were trying to help me in so many ways. But from what I understand, they can't just, there's free will on this planet. So they can't just do stuff for you without you asking, unless it involves saving your freaking life. Like when I've been in multiple accidents where I've almost died, and they were intervening on my behalf in those times, but not when I'm making a poor choice about whatever it is, drinking. They couldn't make me stop grabbing the bottle, but they could get into my head with ideas about, hey, maybe this is a really bad idea, or hey, my life could maybe be a lot better if I didn't drink. They were doing that for sure. So when I finally felt inspired to call out to them, which was strange because I hadn't prayed in a really long time, for real. I mean, I probably said, oh, God, help me here and there, but I hadn't really prayed. And there's more to the story too. I've done videos, and I'd be more than happy to talk about it. I've written about it. Eventually it will be out there and published, but there were some really interesting kind of miracles happening within the Catholic Church, which is funny because I'm not Catholic anymore. I was raised Catholic and I left the church. It does not resonate with me. But a lot of my divine intervention with quitting had to do with the Relic of the Saints, which is, it's like there's this tour that they do around the world from the Vatican with relics. And I was in the room with some of these relics. They say miracles can happen when you're around these relics or praying to the relics. And I had a miracle through it. So it's interesting, because again, I am not religious. I do not follow any certain church. I actually specifically left that religion shortly after being confirmed. It did not resonate with me. Certain things resonate with me with that religion, but overall, no. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the long story short. There's so much more to it, but so yeah, it's kind of weird. It wasn't just like, oh, one day I just had the strength to quit drinking. It wasn't like that. I didn't. I relapsed so many times. I went to rehab, inpatient once, relapsed 2 weeks later, and I went to outpatient more times than I can even, I don't know, more times than I can count, from like the age of 19 until 27. So yeah, I mean, most of my 20s were spent drunk, really drunk. I'm really grateful. I'm 37 and a half. Today's my half birthday. I'm grateful to be here. Okay, now this video is getting long. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I was getting a download about, hey, people keep asking me, how did you do it? How did you do it? There's no one right way to do anything, including getting sober. And relapse can often be a part of these situations, so please don't beat yourself up. And also don't make that an excuse to go relapse. You know what I mean? It gets easier. You just feel better and better. You start to build your confidence again. Because if you're an addict, chances are you either have a very sickly, inflamed ego or a huge lack of self-confidence. For me, it was a huge lack of self-confidence, and that's still something that I work through every single day. But I love you all. I feel there's more videos to come. I really have not said much this year. I've been more quiet this year with my videos. But the reason for that, honestly, is that I have been on such a huge part of my personal spiritual journey, and so much growth and so much change. Like, I am not even the same person I was 6 months ago. A year ago, I was like, I was a stranger. Completely different. So I've needed to go through these lessons and changes in order to be a better version of myself, in order to align with my divine purposes, to be able to serve you, as your friend or as somebody you're watching my videos. I love how when we all just kind of like share our experiences as light workers, and we all just kind of get little gems and golden nuggets from each other. Because it's like, you can't possibly remember everything all at once. Like, we forget things, and it's good to reiterate. And so I'm going to reiterate this before I go. You are doing an excellent job. If you're watching this and you're still here watching this, you're doing an amazing job, because maybe you're still here. Maybe you're still here watching this because you really want to get sober. That's where I was trying to get at. Maybe you really want to quit drinking or doing drugs. You can. I promise you. There was a time where I thought that I would never be able to quit drinking or doing drugs. I was addicted to painkillers for about a year. after a really bad accident. And a couple of bad accidents, actually. But anyway, it happened. I was able to quit. I was able to quit the alcohol, the pills. It's possible. I promise you. I promise you. I love y'all.